Hey dude, have you played the new Call of Duty? Yeah man, the graphics, they're so realistic. It's so realistic, man. Oh, it's so realistic.
Some people actually think like that, and you know, for now that's whatever, but I kinda have a strange feeling that in a couple of years that's actually gonna start to become a problem. You see, as games start to look better and better, or rather start to look more and more realistic, the budgets on these things just are skyrocketing right now, and honestly the industry can't seem to keep up with our expectations. Think about a game like Heavy Rain, and that extreme level of realism and detail. That takes a huge team to pull off. Not many developers can even come close to doing that, yet we have so many that are trying and absolutely failing. I think a big part of this comes from the standards that we as gamers have set. We're always asking for this realism, and when something really beautiful and stylized comes out, you don't fucking buy it. Now, I'm not saying that photorealistic games like Heavy Rain shouldn't exist. There's definitely a place for them, but that space is extremely limited. Homefront sold over 375,000 copies on the first day, but guess what? That still wasn't even enough for it to start to turn around a profit. That's just how huge these games are. Now, this is where stylized graphics come into play, and there's actually a lot of advantages to this. I mean, you can get a completely new experience where the creators have so much more freedom to do whatever they want and express things through movement and art and the colors and the art. But most importantly, it's cheaper. Any smaller AAA developer can make a gorgeous looking game on any type budget, so as long as the art is good. I mean, think about this. Some of the best looking games we have this generation were done on the last generation's hardware, and it feels like every time a new generation comes out, the graphical improvements seem to get a bit smaller and smaller. I mean, the jump from Super Nintendo to N64, holy shit. The jump from N64 to Xbox, wow, yeah. Xbox to Xbox 360, pretty good, you know? Do you honestly expect, though, the Nintendo Cafe to be that much better than the PS3? I don't. But as an industry, we need to keep raising our standards and moving forward, just not in the same way. I think a great example would be Crysis 2. What have you heard about Crysis 2?
Oh, it's fucking gorgeous. It's the most gorgeous game ever. Oh, it looks amazing.
No, it's not gorgeous. It's realistic, sure. Well, I mean, at least the city is anyways. And that's a great technical achievement. Good for them. And sure, that's immersive. That's awesome. But let's compare the city of Crysis 2 to the city of Mirror's Edge. And not compare it on a technical level or on a product level. Let's just compare it on the level of an experience, because that's what a game is. Crysis 2's city has a lot going on for it. There's a lot of detail and everything. But when I think about the game, and then I think about my whole playthrough through it, I have a very photographic memory, and yet not that much actually comes to mind. There wasn't that much that was really original or iconic about it. It just felt like I was watching parts of a movie. When I think about Mirror's Edge, tons of different scenes come to mind. And Mirror's Edge is extremely simple. Come 10 years down the road, I'm going to actually remember a lot more about Mirror's Edge than I will for Crysis 2. And that's not because of how many pixels there are on the screen, it's because the art is better. And honestly, while we're on the subject of Crysis 2, honestly, what the hell's up with this suit? Could you be any more typical buff space marine? Ugh. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not just trying to bash on the game, I actually really like that, but that's not the point that I'm making here. My point is about the fundamental difference between these two games. So as gamers, we need to encourage this, call bullshit on this, and not expect so much of this. Seriously, there's just not enough money to have this much of this. And besides, if you just want to sit around and count pores on a high definition face, go watch a Blu-ray movie, you bum. At the moment, the game industry as a whole can't really afford to get much more realistic, and I think they'll be better for it, so as long as you embrace the art. Peace!